This is a video about making a upside down shelf. Now that might seem a little weird. After all, you take a board, if you turn it upside down, it's still a shelf, the same as any other shelf. However, there are circumstances here which I have that requires me to, in effect, build an upside down shelf, and it has nothing to do with the fact of the board itself as it does with the way it is mounted. I have here a situation where I want to use this board to create a shelf that goes across here, all the way across. The thing is that this door jamb on this rickety old shed is not in the best of condition. This side here, for example, the door jamb needs to be rebuilt. It is crooked. And so at some future time I need to take the door jamb apart and be able to rebuild it. And I don't want anything anchored into it in such a way that I have to tear even more stuff apart. At any rate, in order to clear that, the bottom of the board must be at least 2 or 3 inches above this point here in order to clear any future work that I'll be doing on the doors. Second of all is the steel brackets I purchased to hold the shelf up. They have to be anchored in a solid place in the wall. If I pick a place like this, as you can see, there's a lot of give there, and that's because there's nothing behind it to really hold the shelf bracket and keep it from pulling out. I have to pick instead spots like this here where there's solid wood behind it. There and over the ends of the doors are the places where there's solid wood. So there's only certain places I can put these steel brackets into the wall that will hold the weight that all that is going to hold by the time I put it up there. It has to be strong. The thing is that if I come down from here with a steel bracket, it hangs over empty space and gets in the way of the door jamb. So I cannot put the steel bracket downward. A steel bracket on this corner over here, or the one behind me, I have the same problem. If it comes down, it gets in the way of the door jamb that I need to tear apart later and redo. A project for a later date. And that's true on both sides. So all 3 of those brackets have to be turned upside down. They have to be positioned so that the board is here and the bracket runs up the wall and connected onto the board, holding it from upside down on the shelf to make a shelf there. That's going to be a problem. I'm working by myself. That board is heavy and I have to get it exactly right. I'm going to have to put in a large nail in exactly the right spot and height for the very first bracket, which I'll pre-install the brackets on the board, and then the center one will slide onto that nail to hold it at the right height here. Then with a level and screws, I'll screw the other brackets on. And after I get those brackets on, those shelf supports, and screwed into the wall, then I have another stage. The screws used to mount those shelf brackets onto the board by themselves over time can pull out of the board with the weight that will be on that board. So in order to secure it so that they do not pull out, I will have to go back and drill all the way through, one by one, each spot where a screw goes through, and put in a bolt that goes all the way through the board and bolts it onto that steel bracket. That way it cannot pull out under the weight that it'll be holding. I anticipate quite a bit of weight because though most of it is going to be books, the shop books that I use for reference, They can get to be quite heavy, just the same. And then I may have other things up there that'll be fairly heavy too. And in this tiny little shop, I need all the space I can make use of. I forgot for a moment that I'm lazy. Well, things always have a way of going wrong. My battery died on me at the same time that the hole I was drilling here broke the drill off. It was a pilot drill, a small one, and I've never had one break off in wood before, but it broke off. So I had to drill through from the other side and ended up with using a 1/4 inch size bolt here. Normally the holes that are in these brackets are those holes are only 3/16, and 3/16 is the same size as a number 10 bolt. It is planned to put bolts in this all the way through these boards, but I've already had to pre-do this one. Anyway, I got it this far without you being able to see what it is I'm doing. Pilot now removed. Oh, my battery's dead. Been my day for dead batteries. Okay, my shelf, my upside down shelf is finally complete, including bookends. And I don't know if you can see it in the dark here, but you can clear down there to that end. So I now have a place to put a bunch of books and other things in storage in this shed.